Hello everybody, welcome to a very special dissection video. Yes, we're going to be looking at a very important story, and that is going to be about one player's and also many players' experience with Kabam support, and also the way that Kabam support can be not the greatest at times, and in some cases, and in this particular example, let down this player. How this story came about was that this player, NDA, had been playing Marvel Contest of Champions as you do and decided to go back to some old content, and it all reached a boiling point because of some incredibly misleading information from Kabam had meant that they were meant to be 100%ing Act 5 but were left with a bug which left big frustrations because then Kabam said they were going to deal with the bug but didn't. Now, over the course of the last year, we've seen plenty of these situations happen, from those going through content that they haven't done, or those that are starting off in the game doing the content and finding they're unable to 100% certain quests. I mean, here's an example right here of a player unable to 100% 4.1.5, leaving them on 99%. Here's another example of a player that is, I would assume, newer to the game as opposed to the last person, which was looked to be like a level 60, so I'm assuming that person would have been someone returning back to 100% of content, having paths right there that are just randomly, well, unexplored, which does prove a problem if you're going back to that content. I think this is after those changes, or it could have been around those changes before those changes were made to the quest, so they were lower in paths. And again, here's another example. This is as recent as December 2021, where you can see the paths haven't been 100% completed, and again causes issues because they're unable to 100% the path. Either way, this causes a problem and has led to this particular story, and unfortunate frustration for this player when trying to 100% some old content which they had on their slate, and just thought, do you know what, I'll just get this done, I have some time, I've got some energy, let's get it done. So let's explain this story and go over from the start to where it is now as to like where the failings have been with Kabam support, how they may have not understood the situation, and why that it's just bad form if you're going to say you're going to deal with something and don't. There's a full Reddit thread devoted to this. It would be on the forums, but unfortunately NDA is being kind of like kicked off the forums. But I'm just going to do like a quick and follow as NDA puts a TLDR, which is definitely below, which is this. I contacted Kabam support because I thought I faced a glitch. They admitted that they promised and they would help the player out. They didn't do anything for days, which makes them lose progress in different areas because maybe they've got to be like linked to that particular quest, and emailed them again to remind them and still didn't get help. I'm supposed to get you know, more help over the next few days, and then they backtracked on their previous statements, leaving this player, as they said here, high and dry, which then left them wanting to kind of like, you know, vent for some frustrations about the situation and put something on the forums. In particular, something that was then picked up by Kabam Ahab. And this, I want to say this was like back last year. I haven't 100% because I remember checking up a Kabam Ahab recently, and they've not actually responded to many things. This then was picked up by Kabam Ahab because then, you know, NDA was like, you know, I want to voice some frustrations. This is like, I don't feel it's kind of like fair. And instead they put it an infringement rule right here saying account selling third party will remove all posts mentioning buying or selling accounts or link to sites that offer these or any third-party software. So whether or not this was kind of like linked to there was, I don't know, a post there to the Reddit, which I don't know if like there's kind of like a ban list for the Reddit and stuff like that. I don't know. I think I've seen stuff before where you linked Reddit. I just don't know if that's the case. In any case, it was like, oh, straight ban with no kind of like great explanation about this particular stuff. But look, again, we need to explain what's going on with this. You've heard the TLDR. Let's get into this, get into the meat and bones of this. So NDA says, I'm trying to explore 5.4.3. I thought that my last run was supposed to 100% that quest. However, the game says I only explored 94%. And as we've seen in some of the screenshots and other situations, that is something that has appeared for some players in different types of acts. I am fairly confident I explored every single path, so I suspect some sort of bug or glitch is there. Anyway, for me to find out which path or nodes haven't been explored, I cannot afford to waste items such as revives, potions and energy refills on the quest which might be bugged. Now it does indeed get a response with thank you for the report about that quest. You have contacted us from an email address that is not attached to this to the account. So I don't know if that's kind of like that has any kind of bearing on the situation. I'm trying to take this from how Kabam Support have dealt with the situation. So I you know, a lot of people would kind of go, well, is that trigger something there? Is that a bit of an issue because it's a different account? But saying that, you might go, right, I want to I would do Kabam Support not via in-game, but maybe from a different source, and that's maybe the reason that it's done by here in order to grab it. This might be like on PC or something. So we'll give benefit of the doubt for the time being until we find out more. But we'll need to view ownership, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. Okay, so what was the next step? What happened next? Well, that's when things take a positive toll, and you know, Kabam Support seem to identify that particular email address. Maybe it's a case that then there's a new, like, NDA decided, I'll do it via game then, because that may be kind of like that Kabam might kind of accept that a bit more. So yeah, the response to this is indeed right here. Thank you for contacting the support back, blah 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 blah. After reviewing all the information provided, I'm glad to inform you that we are able to verify the account. So that's, again, that brings the kind of the proof to the matter. With that said, I have reviewed your account and I found that an issue occurred with your attempt at Act 5, Chapter 4.3 and led you to losing some progress on the path. Now, at that point, you go, okay, well, Kabam have kind of like gone, that's fine. And you go, okay, good. They've admitted to it. They're obviously going to deal with it. That's positive news, isn't it? And let's read on a little bit. So we can help you. Please re-enter the quest and notify us by replying to this ticket. We will take action on our end to correct this progress, and we'll naturally walk your team through the path. Please feel free to place any champions on that team. And you think that's great, that's fantastic. They're gonna deal with this. And even like NDA says, I've placed my team. Thank you for your help. Unfortunately, as most things go, like the next steps of things that happen in this particular story is that NDA is let down, and this may be a letdown by, you know, Kabam timing, availability with Kabam support, and stuff like that, because NDA doesn't get any kind of further response from Kabam support on this, and it's ultimately disappointing because at the end of that, you don't know what's going on. And the biggest point about anything with MCOC, game development, or anything in the world is communication. And if you don't know what's going on with your account and you play the game, and look, here's the thing, before anybody kind of would go like, right, this is just a game. I don't think NDA even says that. He understands, look, it's just a mobile game, and all that, you know, there's kind of more serious things going on in the world. But at the same time, if someone says they're going to do something, you kind of go like, okay, you're going to come through and actually deal with it, especially when it comes to like Kabam support. And if you use a lot of games to like de-stress, I mean, you know, I play a lot of games trying to de-stress with them at times. MCC at times isn't the best place for de-stressing, especially because, you know, we got stresses like this. But then again, you kind of go, well, Kabam or kind of games in essence have support teams to help out and support players. And NDA does put, you know, some good faith into Kabam, which is, you know, is admirable from a player base, even after all the stuff that we had. And he even says, I've given the game the benefit of the doubt for many constant issues and bugs like the input delays that are present for what feels like half a year at this point, because I knew it affected pretty much everybody to some degree, and I understand that it takes time to fix it. However, I'm sure that my issue could have been fixed within a few minutes at most. You kind of would hope that, wouldn't you? Now, Kabam at this point do give a response to NDA, and it looks like it's a little bit more positive, and there's also an apology, which is good, but apologies only go somewhere if you're able to kind of deliver on things. So saying right here, I'm sorry for the delay in addressing your ticket. We are currently receiving an unexpected increase in support tickets, and we are working to address each report as quickly as possible. After reviewing your account, I found 2 quest completions on February 16th. I also checked the logs on your energy used in both quests, but was unable to locate any energy used to move on the node shown as incomplete on your quest map. We can also check your previous quest completions but would need to date need a date for when they happen to start the log searches. You are welcome to update this ticket with 7 days within the window, etc. To be brutally honest, the way this kind of I don't understand like where the blame is coming with this. At the end of the day, because this is the bug, regardless of energy spent or not, it just would be a case of going, okay, well then when they're sleeping, use that energy. Like if I mean I try and get like a good 8 hours sleep in. I mean that kind of by the time I've kind of woken up. And either get 6 hours or 7 hours, whatever time I'm sleeping, you kind of wake up in the morning and go, okay, oh, I've got full energy. That can be used for something. The same way that Kabam could go in over the time that that player is inactive and do it. I'm sure Kabam would say, oh, well, we don't have the resources to do that. Well, you've got the resources to respond back to this. So I'm sure you've got some sort of resource there, or even kind of like, you know, can you go into the game and change it to the point of saying like, okay, well what we'll do is we'll just say it's going to look like that, green and 100% on certain things on the particular quest or area or Act 5, and just send the rewards that need to be sent that person's way, because this, as even Kabam admitted, is a bug. And at this point you kind of go like, if you're in NDA's position or NDA's kind of like situation, you would kind of feel like, oh, this is just getting a bit ridiculous. His final point on the matter is this: of course I haven't been able to use energy on the node. That's incomplete since, as I was told in the previous messages, there is an issue with the quest. I quote, I've reviewed your account and found the issue. So again, just like reiterating the kind of situation of it. And also reiterating further elements of this, you know, all the facts, all the info. So after this, 1 week passes, a week where I lose progress, some energy, all because I wait for a fix I was promised, and now you're basically going to tell me that I'll get no help because you did some additional checks. Conventionally, a week after somebody also checked and said it was an error. I guess this is the thing about like the way that Kabam support comes off, because yeah, it's not good. And this then led NDA to go, right, well, I want to say my piece on stuff, and that's why you can see this on the forums, or you can't see this anymore on the forums, because it has definitely been kind of like taken away, because it's not great service. Your life shouldn't revolve around the game, and having that energy, or kind of like having that time to go, like, what do you do at this point? Going, oh, here's the energy, here's the champions on the team there, right? Kabam, can you get this done? It's like, well, a Kabam gonna get this done like that in a snap within about like 10 minutes of you kind of assigning it and sending the ticket over? I really doubt it. That is why, you know, even I mentioned like the idea of like, okay, well, why can't they just like set it as 100%, set it as green as it is in and on screen right now with the game that I've kind of got, and kind of go, okay, well, it's done and this ticket has been signed off, rather than the process that has taken a week to get response, has not been sufficient, has been not ridiculously misleading, but to some degree misleading and complicated. That's not good service, and that's not good support, especially for players in the player base. I've definitely seen a lot of stories in my time of like where Kabam support has not been great in dealing with certain situations, and it's definitely something I think that Kabam support need to improve on, and I hope that down the line they really do. But you know, this is like seven years coming into the 8th year, and stuff like this kind of like, it's always quite sad to see, because it may then lead to a player kind of leaving the game because indeed they got that bad service from a game that they're meant to be relaxing and enjoying, de-stressing from, and all that stuff, and instead they're bringing a bit more stress. Hope Kabam see this, and hope they kind of like deal with the situation of 97 NDA, and thanks to 97 NDA for kind of allowing me to kind of like cover this. And yeah, if you've had a bad like Kabam support story where you were in the right about a situation, get in contact. Like, it'd be interesting to kind of go over this stuff and kind of go like, okay, well, Kabam, please. It's not a case of going like, look, oh, you know, Kabam bad, stuff like that. It's like going, look, improve. Like, let's not hear about stories like this. Let's hear about some good stories. Also, do that. If there's any good stories that Kabam support have done for you, let me know about that as well. It'd be kind of good to get a bit of positivity. Look at the bad, but also look at what Kabam support is doing good at the same time. That has been a video. Have a great day, whatever you're doing, and keep safe, everybody in the world. Keep positive wherever you can. It's a bit of a thing at the moment. But yeah, check out some other content. I'll be regularly uploading and stuff like that. Have a good one, whatever you're doing. Much love. Much love. Bye-bye.